I'm gonna say something real quick. Y'all gonna stop coming to my school talking bad about Norfolk State. Look, that's where I came from. Now look, y'all can't be doing that. What, I have about 5, 6 brothers? And TCC, that's a problem. Alright, so moving on. My man Reginald Foreman. Y'all ready for him? You ready, Reginald?
Indeed.
Let's make it happen. Here we go, 5 minutes.
All right, well, I start mine a little different. I'm gonna start from the BAD period, AD period first. I start off with my good and then go into my great. So my good is, I'm a fashion designer. I'm just gonna show you a little bit. This is some old shirt. This is my first shirt. This is my second, 2014. This is another one. Now, I just wanted to show my polo shirt. Some of my hats. Another hat. New hat I'm wearing. Polo shirt. And I didn't bring everything, I just wanted to show because I know we learned through the visual. Reginald Foreman, author, speaker, designer. I was blessed in the midst of starting my company in 2013 to get enough. I've been showing it so much I done ripped it. A fashion magazine that could have put me on Macy's. Macy's was the sponsor of the people that I was involved with. That's my beautiful wife right there. That's Reggie. No, that's not Reggie. Reggie is the street name. It's Reginald right there. In the midst of that, I was blessed to get on the front page. Now, I want to say this because I'm going to get into the great, which is my story. But I was blessed to get the front page of the big business section. Because I thought I was just going to get the middle. You flip through there in that little article, if you flip too fast, you miss it. So when they called me and said I got the front, this was a backflip, which I don't know how to do. It was a high praise. But the key to it, what does it say? It said Reginald Foreman found God and then founded God in it. That's big to me. Also in the midst of that, I wrote a book, Live Determined, Don't Let Your Struggles Bully Your Dreams. I've been on countless radio shows, interviewed for my story. I've been on 2 platforms of the CBN 700 Club, TBN, Juice TV, national-wide TV shows. Right now, Hollywood is trying to get my story. We're talking to producers. I've spoken at, if you don't know, Sweetie Pies in St. Louis. I've spoken with them on the same platform. What else I've done? I've wrote some short films and all that good stuff. But we're going to get into the great where I came from. I'm not from Virginia. I just moved to Richmond. But I started in Chicago. My mother was on drugs and prostitution. She used to literally beat me. Hurt people, hurt other people. Because I wasn't fighting gangs, I had to come home and worry about if my mother was going to hit me in the mouth. She used to love my little brother more than she loved me, which I've forgiven her, but it was like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. My little brother was light-skinned, I was dark-skinned. In the midst of that, like I said, fighting gangs, I developed a chip on my shoulder. If you know anybody that's being bullied, if you put the smallest dude in the corner, you better be careful, he'll come out swinging hard. Even though I wasn't that small, but it built up. So I became a person that kept trying to show off to prove how tough I was. So I was the first one to swing, the first one to rob. Y'all can hear me, right? Yeah, they don't need that. I never sold drugs. I was a robber. I'll snatch you out your car, kick doors in, home invasion. I was never a drug dealer. I did not sell drugs because my father didn't put fear in me. If you go to prison, we're going to leave you there. They're going to take your booty, all kind of stuff. This is what I was scared of at that moment. So I felt I'd rather have a gun shootout or where you got to chase me. I'm not going to stand on no corner and sell drugs where you can get me in the sting. That was my thought process. And then I moved to Miami, Florida. Now that's where I got my... Miami, Florida is not that Will Smith Welcome to Miami South Beach stuff. I'm talking about first 48 Miami. Strip clubs, the street, Liberty City, all that. But my household was like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. My stepmother was so proper, you thought you was talking to a white woman on the phone. She was African American, but she was so proper. Because coming from the hood of Chicago, you never heard that type of language. You only heard slang. There was corporate America, and I learned how to eat with a salad fork, a soup spoon. I was taught to be proper. But at the age of 14, my mind was already messed up by the time I moved to Miami. You remember at the age of 14, 15, you was already smelling yourself. You thought you was grown. So in the midst of that, I ended up robbing a bank. My father, who was corporate America, good 4 cars, bedroom with a pool, he had demons in his closet. What happened? They had a big nationwide layoff in Florida, Power Knife laid him off. He going through a divorce, he reverted back to Slick Willie. See, he didn't have God to stand on. He only had when he went to the army and changed his life. He's getting in trouble. I'm getting more and more in the streets because my father was so strict. And all I wanted to do was fit in. I was tired of being bullied. Ended up robbing a bank and got illegally sentenced to 18 and a half years. I robbed the bank, which I did, but they lied and said I robbed the people outside with broad daylight. So they said I robbed 2 people, took their wallet in the purse with a gun, then ran in the bank. A crackhead wouldn't do that. So they lied. I did rob the bank at 19. I was off the chain. I robbed the bank while they were here. It was 1 episode. So I ended up getting 9 years in state, 9.5 in fed. It was supposed to be I was never supposed to get sentenced in state, but then they agreed to run it concurrent, and they lied. So I don't have time to go into what that means. They know as I was coming back from the state prison, everybody getting on the federal bus, they stopped me. Said, Mr. Foreman, you got to do your state first, then your fed. So at 20 years old, I ended up with 18 and a half years. I done started getting the Bible, believing in God and everything. And it got worse. I get serious when it get worse. People say they believe in God. We're going to see when your back really against the wall. So I'm in there fighting. Became the deacon of the church and running around getting power because I started to listen to the old heads. Like some of these brothers said, I had to listen to people who was going through worse. I had to accept advice. Ended up getting back in the courts 4 years later. I'm in the county jail, got back in there. As I got a letter from the federal court saying, Mr. Foreman, your case is closed. You can't file no more appeals. You've exasperated all your remedies. Meaning that now I just got to do 9.5 years. I don't have no more appeals. I got to say this part. End up running to my cell next door, and I'm calling my mentor. A Puerto Rican guy was deep in the word. I said, man, I'm pregnant. Oh, I can't file. I can't get out. I'm scared because the feds is the real gangsters. He started laughing and praising God. I'm trying to look through the brick wall now. What is you laughing and praising God for? He said, he got real quiet. He said, now you're going to see the power of God. Now you're going to see his hands move because you have nowhere else out. Reading that Bible, part of the red, see everything real now. Get back in there and say, Mr. Foreman, we did agree to run our case concurrent back in 1997, but somehow the feds didn't agree. We're going to overturn your case and just charge you for the gun. So I had did 4 years, they just charged me 3 years. I could have went straight home out the courts. They said, but you can't leave because the federal prison has a hold on you. I'm like, all right, we just got to get over here and beat the feds. I come back in, they call me to pack up on a Monday, which is a state pickup. Tuesday is fed, they call me to go back to state prison. I'm like, why am I going? Why are you trying to figure it out? God is already working it out. They sent me to a camp. I'm in the camp. I'm like, I'm writing the judge, I'm writing the prosecutor, I'm writing the lawyer. 3 times is my number. After 3, I don't file no more. 4 months go by. I ain't hear nothing. Lady called and said, Mr. Foreman, we need you in R&D. I go down there, she typed and said, Mr. Foreman, you got immediate release. Now I know the federal has a hold on me. She said, and her computer say immediate release. I said, ain't no hold on me in the computer. She said, no. I said, there's no detainer on me. She said, no, sir. I said, I'm going to shut up and ride this out. Change clothes. They gave me the $100 that you get when you get out of prison. I got in the front seat with the police officer, a woman. I said, hold up, I ain't in the back seat. I ain't in the back seat. I'm 80% sure I'm free. Take me to the bus station. Mr. Foreman, have a nice life. We want to see you again. I'm jumping on the bus. I beat the feds. I'm free. Get down to Miami. I said, everybody living the same way, ain't have no help. I said, I'm not going back to prison. So I called my family in St. Louis. Now, these are church people I could have moved with at 17, but they Pentecostal. Holy Ghost skirt down in no ankles, no makeup. I said, I'm not moving with them at 17, but now I need what? I need accountability and stability. I called and moved to St. Louis. I'm dating the pastor's daughter. I was working at labor rate where you get $7, $8 an hour. I wasn't thinking about prison. She started having dreams. I went back to prison. My ex-girlfriend, sorry about the baby, ex-girlfriend, her mother's a prophetess, can tell you what color you had on everything, so the dream got passed down. She had 4 dreams. I went back to prison. 3 years later, 4 days after Valentine's Day, 2004, laying on the bed 6 a.m. If you ever heard of U.S. Marshal knock it, wake up out of coma. I go downstairs, U.S. Marshals everywhere. Mr. Foreman, we have a warrant for your arrest. Get in the police car, he turns around and said, you was let out of prison erroneously by mistake. So you telling me I done believed in God, got double sentence, and now I done changed my life, moved out of the problem, and I'm going back to prison. So I went back to prison. I was suicidal. I already was suicidal because my mother passed down. She tried to kill herself many times in front of me and my brother. Now I'm suicidal. I don't know why, but the old heads with life sentence in 30 years came and said, man, you got some, we see it on you, got glory, God got a calling for you. I could have chose to say, N-I-G-G-A-S, get out of my face. I don't want to hear that. I don't hear nothing about God, but I chose to accept the help that comes to you. End up filing my paperwork. Jailhouse lawyer helped me, a prisoner. End up filing, but in the midst of that, I started bettering myself, occupying my time. I got certificates this thick. I was voted prisoner of the month, most likely to succeed. Got my GED. 4 years went by, I won my appeal. So I did 4.5 years, 3 years, and 4 years free. So I'm going to round that up to, this is why my testimony has been such a blessing. This is why it's been so big. And I teach people to live determined.
Amen. Give me a clap. I love this story. I love this. Brother voice sound like Kevin Gates. I think voice sound like Stephen.
Trying to say I'm country, brother.
I thought my son was gonna point it out, but he didn't say that. He loved Kevin Gates. All right, last but not least, Brother Reverend Antoine Jones. Take it home, bro.